Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the Nintendo Switch 2. I've been waiting for this. In fact, I waited in line for about an hour at GameStop along with all the other people that had pre-ordered as well, and I picked up the Nintendo Switch 2 with the Mario Kart World bundle, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, and an extra set of Joy-Cons. So let's go ahead and unbox this. I think the last time I unboxed a console on this channel may have been the Nintendo Switch 1, but we'll unbox it, set it up, compare it with the Switch 1 as well. Now this comes in at $449 without any games, or this bundle is $499. If you were to buy the game separately, it's about $80 or so. Now let's go ahead and open this up. So I don't have my normal unboxing knife here, so let's just use this. I had this sitting around, a Leatherman tool, a pretty generic one. So we'll unbox it from here, and we've got the serial number and everything else. Hopefully this is sharp enough to cut through the plastic. There we go. We'll set that aside and open it up here. So we'll open this up. Let's open the box up and see what we've got. So this is the Switch right on top with the two Joy-Cons. So we'll take this out of the bag here, or out of the box. We'll set it aside along with the Joy-Cons as well. Set these over here, and let's see what else we've got. So underneath, we've got Mario Kart 2, or Mario Kart World rather, for the Switch 2, and we'll scratch it off and have a download code. So that's what's included in the box there. And then, of course, we have our health and safety information. Aside from that, we've got what looks to be an HDMI cable. So HDMI to HDMI, pretty typical Nintendo cable. Let's see if it has any Nintendo branding on it here. And it looks like it does. So pretty nice cable overall, very similar to the Switch 1. And then we also have a couple extra clips for the Joy-Con controllers, so we can use it as a mouse. So we'll set those aside, and let's see what's underneath here. So underneath this portion of the box here, we have probably the dock. So first off, we've got our AC adapter. It's USB-C, so you can see Nintendo on one side. It has the adapter information on the other side. You can see that here. And then on the back, we have our USB-C plug. So we've got that here. And then we have the controller, or the thing we can clip in the Joy-Cons to and use this as a controller. Again, we'll set that aside. We have our USB-C cable in here. So let's open this up. So we have our USB-C to USB-C cable. Again, it says Nintendo on it, as you can see there. And finally, it looks like we've got our dock here. So we've got our dock that connects to the TV if you want to use it docked instead of as a portable console. This is typically how we use our Switch, but you'll see here, looks like it may have some fans in it. It opens up on the back, so it says AC adapter, HDMI out, and then LAN. So you can plug in Ethernet here, you have HDMI and USB-C. So that's really nice, and then you have this to kind of hide it away. So we'll hide it away completely. And then on the left side, we've got two USB-A ports. Inside, you can see here what it looks like from the side. Gives you a little closer look to it. And then around the other side, we don't really have anything here. So just an area to route your cables. So let me set all of this aside, clean this up, and we'll take a closer look at the Switch. So here's the Switch itself. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is the first time I'm seeing one as well. So we'll slide this out of the packaging here. And you can see it says Switch 2. We have a kickstand on the back, so much nicer than the one before. You can tilt it to multiple levels, so if you want to angle it or something like that. It is a little bit flimsy, but definitely better than the kickstand on the Switch 1. On the bottom, you can see we have USB-C and some alignment pins, it looks like, to make it a little bit easier to align in the dock. So as we set this down, let's see if we can see this. Sort of should make it a little bit easier, and it's pretty easy to align as it's flush to the sides without the Joy-Cons on it. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the Joy-Con adapter here with sort of the pins sticking out. Same thing is true on the other side, and it's color matching. And then on the top, it looks like we've got our USB-C on the top. We've got a headphone jack, along with a power button, volume button, and then let's open this up. This should be for our cartridge here. So we've got our Switch cartridge, and then that's about it. So let's take a look at the screen here. Fairly reflective, so there's no anti-reflective coating, but Nintendo has said there's sort of a protector over it. There are protectors available as well. Now let's open up the controllers, or Joy-Cons, and take a look at that. So here's the left one. Here's the right. And we'll quickly take a look at sort of these lanyard adapters here that we can use as a mouse. So we'll slide those out as well. and it looks like they will just click right in. So it looks like they click in this way. So we've got plus and plus. There we go. So you do have to sort of pop it in here. You'll see this little pin sort of pops in, and then you hook it in from the bottom. So you'll see it like this, and then you can place it down and use it like a mouse. The same is true on the other side. Just pop it in, and we've got a couple pads here. So you've got a pad here. You've got your buttons on either side, SL and SR, and then a little button in the middle. Let's take these off and take a closer look though. So again, we'll set these aside. So on the right Joy-Con, you can see here, we've got our analog stick, and hopefully these are better this time around. We'll have to wait and see, but I probably went through 3 sets of Joy-Cons, or fixed at least 3 sets on the old Switch. You'll see we've got our buttons, X, Y, B, A. We've got the plus button here, home, and then a way to chat with other people online. Then we've got our buttons here as well, and then we've got an optical sensor it uses for a mouse, and then what looks like a pairing or reset button. On the back, we have a button here. So you've got one here, as well as a button on the top. So you've got your ZR button. You'll see it says right, it's a right bumper. And then you've got another one here that helps push this off the console. Same thing is true on this side, so just to see them side by side. And they should just click in fairly easily. So they connect magnetically, they're on there pretty tight. And I can't really pull them off. I probably have to push the button on the back. So they feel very strong. See, I'm pulling on it fairly hard. They don't just come off. That's something I was a little concerned with. It looks like you have to push the button, and then it pushes out this little pin and then pushes it off. So pretty good idea. It seems built fairly well. And let's talk about the specs for a moment, and then we'll compare it, set it up, and see what we've got here with the other accessories as well. So this comes in at 1.18 pounds or 0.54 kilograms. Now the display is fairly reflective, like I said already. It's a capacitive touchscreen though, 7.9 inches wide. It's an LCD that supports wide color and also is 1920 by 1080. It supports HDR10 and has a variable refresh rate up to 120 Hertz. As far as the internal specs, well, it has a custom processor made by NVIDIA, has 256 gigabytes of UFS storage, as well as a micro SD slot that allows for up to 2 terabytes of storage. So it says game card here. Let's see where the SD card slot is. I may have missed that. It looks like if we pull back the kickstand, we've got an SD slot here. So micro SD, you'll see it says micro SD Express. So again, up to 2 terabytes. Now, as far as anything else, well, a couple things to note. It does have the output via HDMI, just like the regular Switch. However, it has a maximum resolution of 3840 by 2160 or 4K, up to 60 frames per second at 4K. But it does support 120 frames per second when running at 1080p or 1440. Depends on the games and the resolution selected, and supports HDR10. Of course, you saw that it had a LAN port on the dock. It supports Bluetooth, has wireless LAN or Wi-Fi 6, and in TV mode, the Nintendo Switch 2 can be connected via a wired LAN, like I mentioned before. As far as battery life, well, we do have a lithium-ion battery at 5220 milliamp hours, 2 to 6.5 hours according to Nintendo, and it takes about 3 hours to charge. The Joy-Cons are good for about 20 hours according to Nintendo, and they take about 3.5 hours to charge. So that's all the details about the Switch. Let me compare the size here quickly so we can take a look, and then we'll open up some accessories, get this set up. So here's my original Switch 1, where the kickstand just fell right off the back, so it's definitely heavily used. You can see that here, and this gives you an idea of the overall size. So side by side, this does have a little carbon fiber skin on it that my son played around with, and you can see this here. So definitely much larger than what we had before. As far as side by side, again, you can see this here. So a little bit different. It feels about the same thickness, but feels much more high quality as far as the build, feels more rigid, and looks like it should be a nice display. Again, it's not OLED, but overall it feels really good. The curvature of the sides is nice, and you can see again side by side. I'm just hoping the Switch controllers are better, but we do have larger Joy-Cons, so that'll be a little bit better, and hopefully they hold up better as well. Now let me first turn this on, and then we can take a look at some of the accessories. So I can pop these off here quickly while we're booting up. We can quickly attach it to the other controller. So this gives you an idea of this size as well. So pretty good. If you have large hands like me, it's much more comfortable than it was before. So now it's booted up. It wants me to put the controllers on. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll get these set here. Nice little sound to that as well. And let's see what we've got here. So it says Nintendo Switch 2. I'll just turn the volume off for now, but we'll go down to US, then the Americas. Of course, set this up for your region. Then we have to accept the agreement or we can't use it. And now we can connect to the internet. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's connected successfully. And this is something that's unfortunately common lately. It's improving, but when you take the Switch out, you want to play it. You don't want to have to download an update. So we'll download the update. We'll set our time zone here. So let's see what we've got. New York or Eastern time. And it says with Nintendo Switch 2, you can play games wherever you want, however you want. We'll tap next. Talks about using the stand and using the AC adapter on the top. We'll hit OK. And then it's showing how to disconnect the Joy-Cons as well. So you'll see there, pull to the side, detach it, and we'll connect to a TV later. And then it says you can use the accessories. We already went through that. And then it says choose a style. You can change it at any time. And now it's downloading data. It says about 2 minutes left. So I have fairly fast internet connections here, so it should be pretty quick, but it may take just a moment here. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and unbox the accessories here. So let's open this up here again with the very dull unboxing knife here. Let's try this again. Now, these Joy-Cons are quite expensive, so more than last time, of course. These come in at $94.99 plus tax in the United States. This was the only color option available, so the same thing we have here. And inside, you can see what they look like. So you do get these little adapters, it looks like, on the side. And then let's pull out the Joy-Cons. So not a whole lot in here. Very efficient packaging, I suppose. And let's see what we've got. So again, the same sort of Joy-Con. I wish there were other colors available, but they aren't yet. I'm sure there will be in the future. And you can see this is what we get with them. So basically the exact same thing. So we could quickly pair these in a minute, but it's not set up just yet. But again, we've got the same adapters that come with it. So if one actually breaks, that's a little unfortunate. Hopefully they're much more durable, though, than the Switch 1. It says the system will restart once the update's complete. So again, we'll wait for it to complete here. It boots up, says Nintendo. And let's clean it off just a bit as well. There we are. Now it says start system transfer or don't transfer. We'll transfer. It says you can transfer data from your Nintendo Switch to this Nintendo Switch 2. So we'll start system transfer. And if you have a micro SD express memory card, insert it, it says. And it says first sign into your Nintendo account. So we'll do that. So after scanning the QR code, all it did was make me go to the website, and then I had to verify the account. It says signed in. We'll hit OK. And it says move this system and the source system close together to transfer data. So let's go ahead and bring the Switch 1 over. We'll make sure it's turned on here. So they're close by. Let's go ahead and hit next. And we'll see what happens here. So it says connect an AC adapter to start downloading data. I've got one right here next to it. So let's go ahead and plug this in. We'll just plug it into the top here. There we go. And it says bring the system close. So again, we'll turn it on. And let's go back home here. There we go. It says move the system and the source system close together. And I've done that. Open home and select system settings, system transfer to Switch 2. So we'll go into the settings here. We'll scroll down to system and then scroll down a little bit further. Let's see what we've got here. System transfer to Nintendo Switch 2. So we'll go ahead and tap that, and it says the system's data will be transferred. We'll tap next. And it says you can keep playing compatible Nintendo Switch software on the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Some Nintendo Switch games may not be supported or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. It says make sure your system is nearby. And it says please wait. So we'll give it just a moment here and see what happens. Now we have to agree, tap next again, tap next, And it wants me to connect an AC adapter to this one as well. We've got an AC adapter here. Let's go ahead and plug it in. There we go. It recognizes that. And now it's looking for the switch 2 here. So again, pretty simple and straightforward, but you do have to complete a lot of steps. It connected on its own. It says start download. We'll go ahead and do that. And it says please wait. Now it says calculating time left. The system will restart during the process. So it's at 1%. It could take a moment here. And while that's going on, let's go ahead and open up the new Pro 2 controllers, Pro controller for the Switch 2. So again, let's bring out the unboxing knife. It's probably the dullest knife I own here, I think, at this point. There we go. And we can open it up. Now this controller is $84.99. So again, very expensive controllers this time around. Let's open it up and see what we've got though. So in here, it looks like we've got a USB-A to USB-C cable, and then the controller itself, and that's it. So let's open it up. We'll set this aside. Move the cable, and here's the Pro controller. Now right away I noticed that we have some buttons underneath. So we have GL and GR. So we have a button right where your finger lies underneath. And then on the top we've got our analog sticks. They feel pretty good overall. We've got our D-pad. We've got our home button, our communication buttons and everything else, plus, minus, and then of course A, B, X, Y. So that's normal. And then on the top here, you've got the other buttons. So right, left, ZR, ZL, and then another button for pairing. So pretty familiar there, but to compare it with the previous Pro controller, I have it right here next to it. You can see that here. So you'll see Nintendo Switch looks pretty familiar, but the analog sticks, they feel about the same, maybe a little bit smoother. Of course, this has been used a little bit more, but again, on top, fairly similar. Not the exact same, but similar. And then no buttons on the back. So pretty similar that way, and we'll try and pair the original controller and see if that works just fine, but here's the new one as well. So this says it has about 6 minutes left. We'll give that about 6 minutes, and then we'll come back when it's done. Now it says data has been sent. Please wait until the process is complete on the Switch 2. So it looks like it's complete here. We'll press OK, and we're back to the main screen here. So you could erase this, continue to use it, or whatever you'd like. So let's disconnect this and wait for this to set up as it says system setting up. Now it says system transfer complete, downloadable software will be re-downloaded later. It says setup complete, press home to go home. We'll disconnect power since we're close to full or 79%. And let's see what we've got here. So we're at the home screen and that's the menu. The screen actually looks pretty great. So same thing we have on the Switch 1. So for those of you worried it would delete maybe your old Switch or something like that, you'll see here, if we go home, we have the same thing. So it's basically the same exact setup on both devices, and it works like you would expect. Nice touch screen. Maybe I'll add a screen protector later. Now that we're at the home screen, of course, we have a few different settings, of course, so we can use the touch screen. It's downloading a bunch of games. And we can go into things such as settings here. So we have our typical settings with things such as screen brightness. We have auto brightness. If we scroll down, we can go to audio for system output. Display, we can disable HDR. And then we have things such as Amiibo, themes. We can go into a dark theme here if we want, which is always nice. Notifications and sleep mode. If we go back home, we have other things down here at the bottom. So we have Nintendo Switch Online. We've got Game Chat, News, Nintendo eShop, Album, Game Share, Controllers, Virtual Game Cards, System Settings. Now the Virtual Game Cards is concerned quite a few, but it says whose do you want to use? We'll use mine here, and we'll give it a second. So we've got all these Virtual Game Cards from past games here, but we'll just go back home for now. Then we've got Controllers. Let's see if we can maybe pair another controller. So I've got this one here. We'll disconnect here. Let's see if we can connect these. So we'll connect a new one. It says paired. We'll connect this one. Paired. There we go. And those should be paired. So if we disconnect these, it automatically sets it up. So These could get confused a little bit easy, but you'll see we have a couple lights there to indicate that as well. So with the Pro Controller, let's go ahead and plug it in here, as I wasn't able to get it to connect easily, but I would imagine if we just do this, it should connect. So let's go ahead and do that. It says paired. It's paired instantly, and you can see that here. So now we're already paired, everything's good to go, and we can use the Pro Controller as well. So there we go. Now it's on the third signal there. So now I can use it just like you would expect. Of course, super simple with Nintendo. Let's try and pair the other controllers, as you can use them wirelessly. So maybe the Switch 1 Pro Controller. Let's see if we can do that. We'll plug it into the bottom this time. And it says paired. Instantly paired. We can use the Pro Controller 1 here, it looks like. And let's plug it back in. Maybe we don't have battery, but it's paired. So now I can use it. Pro Controller 1, Pro Controller 2, as well as Joy-Cons. So again, we've got our games here. And we also have the ability to use some cartridges, I believe. So here's the cartridge slot. I have this Kirby game. So you'll see here we have Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Let's see if we can insert it here. See what happens if we try to insert a Switch 1 cartridge. There we go. Now I've already got the game installed, but it sees it and we should be able to play it. So if I click on it here, it should load. So let me turn it down. And it should work just like you would expect. Of course, there's some upgrades and things available. So again, let's let it load here just a moment. And it works like you would expect. So Kirby in the Forgotten Land, again, it looks great. We can continue co-op, and go back home. Now, one thing I wanted to do is redeem the Mario Kart World game, of course, because I want to try the new one, and then try this out. So we'll go to the Nintendo eShop here. Go here, and we'll see if we can redeem a code. Now I had to use the same sign-in method. Let's go to enter code, and we'll get the code entered here. Unfortunately, there's no camera that I could just quickly scan it with, but let's go ahead and get that entered. The code is entered. It says confirm content to redeem. We'll tap redeem, and it says this may take a moment. It says thank you, and it just downloads like a normal game. So it should show up here, and it says virtual game card added. We'll tap OK. It says it's there, shows it inserting, successfully loaded, and you can play as soon as the data is downloaded. So you'll see it there. It's got to download the game, and that could take a while, of course. One thing I almost forgot to check out is mouse mode. If we detach the controllers here, maybe we'll set it up with the stand. And one thing I wanted to show you is that it looks like you could break the stand if you push on it pretty hard, but we do have mouse mode. So what we can do is take the adapters that we got in the box, connect them here, and then use this as a mouse. So as soon as you place this down, now you have a full mouse. So you can click on things, maybe go into it, click on it, see what we've got just with the little button here, and you'll see it downloading. So it works like you would expect as far as a mouse goes, and you can just move it around with the little mouse cursor if you want to, and I'm sure we'll use this more in games as well. Now, I played Mario Kart, just the single player 50cc Grand Prix for just a moment. I've barely played it, but it looks good. The refresh rate is pretty good, and in general, games load fast. It's what you would expect from a Switch. Now, I can't wait for more games, Donkey Kong and some other ones, and I was really hoping for a new Mario Odyssey, but I think it's what you would expect as far as the games go. Speakers sound pretty good overall. They sound about what you would expect, nice and clear, and even at the highest volume. So I think I'll have to use this for a few days, see what it's like, see what my family thinks. Hopefully the analog sticks actually hold up pretty well. And it is a little bit slippery, just so you know. On the sides, it feels very slippery a little bit. But most of the time, we'll be using this docked. But let me know what you think of it overall. Are you picking up a Switch 2? Did you pick one up already? And what games did you get? Did you get Mario Kart World, or are you going for something else? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.